Okay, I'm glad to have you guys back. Thank you so much for rejoining the meeting. All right, we're trying to take the presentations of group 2 and 3. Okay, somebody has something. Okay, Ife is not here. Okay, she would soon join us. Okay, now I'm going to make Ewarushe the host of this very meeting so that you make your presentation. Okay, Ewarushe, now you the host. Please admit others. Then mute and unmute as you please. Okay, share your screen now, please. Ewarushe. So while they were waiting for her to share her screen, we expect them to critically discuss stanza 2 of Journey of the Magi by T.S. Eliot. Not only will they do this, they would also look into the poetic devices in this particular classic poem. All right, thank you, girl.
Okay, I'm just going to admit.
Okay, please try to avoid any pause, okay, because this is being recorded, okay?
Okay, so group 3, we have Ife, Elsie, Ivana, Kamsi, and me. We're doing the analysis of stanza 2 and the poetic devices.
All right.
Yeah. So, Elsie, can you please take the first part? Is she here? Yes.
Elsie? Unmute her, please.
Yeah.
Analysis of stanza 2. This second stanza brings some relief and represents the second stage of the spiritual process. However, these lines also bring into question the idea of time. The Magi arrive at dawn, seeking information on the whereabouts of the birth, and manage to get there in the evening, not a moment too soon. In between, the speaker describes the various things they come across, which are all symbolical, related to the future life of the Christ figure.
Symbolically related, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. There's much allusion from the 3 trees, crucifixion of Calvary, on Calvary, to the wineskins, the parable. The meanings are clear. It's as if the speaker is having a premonition, yet doesn't know the significance. And that curious half line, it was, you may say, satisfactory, suggests that the speaker wasn't too impressed with the place of birth, was even a little disappointed. Perhaps this also refers to the idea that the place, although important, isn't as crucial to change as the journey itself.
Right.
And the poetic devices. I didn't know that you meant the poetic devices in only stanza 2, so it's kind of the whole poem, but mainly stanza 2 and stanza 3.
Okay. Are you done?
Okay,
All right.
no, these are the poetic devices.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this is alliteration. Cold coming. You can see the repetition of the seas. The summer passes on slopes, the terraces, and the silken girls bringing sherbet. Camel men cresting, sleeping in snatches. At dawn we came down, dicing for pieces of silver. It was, you may say, satisfactory. Yeah, those are the alliteration.
All right.
Okay, Elsie.
Crucifixion. Who's taking this?
Assonance.
Okay.
And the camels galled, sore-footed, refractory, lying down in the melting snow, running away and wanting their liquor and women.
Please, Elsie, if you're gonna talk about assonance, you need to tell us the sounds, the vowel sounds that have been repeated, so that we understand what you're saying. All right. So,
Yes.
so help us. What are the vowel sounds in running away and wanting their liquor and women? What are the vowel sounds?
Camels and gold.
God. Okay. Any other one?
Mm, yes.
Which other one?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So you have it in God, God, and soft-footed, soft-footed. Okay. I just want us to be sure so that it's not that we're just reading. Okay, we're here to learn. All right. So, okay, what's an assonance? Could you explain to us?
An assonance is a resemblance of sound between syllables of nearby words. Like, for example, the um, camels, gold, they have
No,
similar sound.
va sound. Okay. Now,
Yeah,
the assonance is in God. It's pronounced as God, not God. Okay. God and saw footed. Okay. So that saw has all. Okay. Same as the God. It has all sound. Do you understand?
yeah.
All right. Thank you. You may proceed, please.
Ife.
Okay, so now we have a simile, and this birth was hard and bitter agony for us, like death, our death. So what this is basically saying is that it's indirectly comparing this birth to death. So, and it's kind of ironic as well because birth and death are are opposites. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let me unmute Ivana.
Okay, so going back to the simile, like Ife said, in this dramatic irony, this birth was hard and bitter agony for us, like death, our death. The Magus expected that he had traveled all the way to experience the joy of a birth. It turns out that although it was a birth, it was not joyous but agonizing because it was the opposite of birth, death, both of Jesus himself and the pagan way of life. As readers in the Christian era, we know the story of Jesus' crucifixion, as well as the decline of paganism and the advent of Christianity. This creates a tension between what we know and what the Magnus has to find out, leading to dramatic irony. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that explains that. And situational irony. Finding the place. It was, you may say, satisfactory. The reader expects the Magus to be in awe at this moment, the climax of the story, the birth of Jesus. Instead, he uses the word satisfactory, which has a very flat affect, and qualifies it with parenthetical, you may say, which synthesis himself even mild positivity. What this is trying to say is that you expect that their destinations leave them in awe and leave them speechless. But no, it was
Mhm.
just exceptional. It wasn't more than exceptional. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't fulfilling. Well, it was fulfilling, but it wasn't something that would overpour on your cup, that will make you jump and scream and shout. It was,
Mhm.
as they say, very flat.
Okay.
Yes, I was just talking about.
Very flat. I have a question for you here. Could you just pause? Now, you said
Okay.
something that, you know, to the Magi, it was like, was it worth it? Did we, pass through these, tortuous roads, and did we experience these harsh conditions only to come to a manger? Remember that in the Bible, we're told that even angels were the ones that announced the birth, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
They announced the birth of the Lord Jesus. And these shepherds in their fields with their flock, they had expected that, okay, and we get there, we're gonna see a royal child in a big palace and blah blah, maybe in Herod's palace and blah blah. But they went there and saw the baby in a manger. Okay, the reason they asked, was it worth it? Okay, now, do you think that it was a waste of time? Was it a
No,
waste of time?
I don't think it was a waste of time because they were not disappointed. Like the amount of disappointment wasn't devastating. It was just okay, I accept. Like they accepted what they saw. They
Okay.
weren't too happy, but they weren't sad either. It was just there. Like you waiting in line to get food, like you're
Mm,
hungry, just to
okay.
find out it's something like just to find out it's not like, oh, it's not an your favorite meal, but it's not your
Okay.
worst. It's just a meal.
It just
Yeah, that's why
it's
I think
like something so so. Okay.
yes.
Yeah, in between. That's the reason the persona uses satisfactory. It was just satisfactory. Is that it?
Yes,
All right.
that's
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, fire on. Please, let's make it snappy because we've
So
exceeded.
Ife,
Okay, so so the next is allusion, and these are just basically references. And this entire poem is like one big allusion to like the Bible, and then there's some certain things that allude to the Bible. So the running stream and watermill are a biblical allusion because you know Jesus called himself the living water in John chapter 4 verse 10 to 14.
Mm,
The stream powers a mill beating the darkness, alluding to Jesus' claim in John 8:12 to be the light of the world. Then the three trees low on the sky have been interpreted variously by scholars to refer to the crucifixion of Jesus Christ with his two thieves on the cross at the either side of him, or the Trinity of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
all right.
And then the white horse refers to the one in Zechariah 6:5 who announces the coming of Jesus.
Wow.
Then is it Magi? Yeah, the Magi arrive at a tavern with the vine leaves over the lintel. So this is basically alluding to the story of Passover in Exodus 12, and basically the whole notion of Christ as the true vine in John chapter 15 verses 1 and 5. And the word lintel is rooted in Latin to mean limen, which means threshold, and they are on the threshold before both the entry to Bethlehem and the moment before Christ is born, which for the Christian faithful will change the world entirely. And
Mm,
lastly, the hands and feet in the next two lines are biblical allusions to the butchering for Christ. Matthew 26:14 to 16, and Jesus' parable of the new wine, Matthew 9:17.
mm. Wow. Beautiful. I have some questions for you. Are you
Yes,
ready?
sir.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you so
sir.
much for pointing out the use of allusion in this particular stanza. Now you said something. You made reference to the three trees low on the sky. Now, people have actually attributed these or uh, try to compare these trees to the three crosses on which Jesus and the two thieves were nailed. Okay, now if you go to Luke chapter 2, okay, Luke chapter 2, I'm trying to go back to Luke chapter 2. Now, where you have the dedication of Jesus, okay, in the temple, we're told that a particular man led by the Spirit entered the temple and he took the baby Jesus in his uh, arms, and then he said something while that Jesus was being presented in the temple. He said something. He said this. He said, this child, please listen, this child is destined to cause the falling and rising of many in Israel. and to be a sign that will be spoken against, so that the thoughts of many hearts will be revealed. And a sword will pierce your own soul too. Now, Simon, yeah, I guess it's Simon, Simeon or Simon, I guess that's his name. Yeah, Simeon, sorry. Okay. Now, Simeon, having said some stuff about the destiny of this child, then he faced Mary, the child's mama, and said this directly to her, and a sword will pierce your own soul too. Now, you see this Magi on
So
their,
you're frozen.
oh, apologies for that, I guess the internet, but can you hear me clearly now? Can you
Yeah, I
hear?
can hear you now, but not clearly, but I can hear
Oh,
you.
oh, sorry about that. Okay, now this Magi, why that they on their way to the place, the birthplace. Okay, they saw three crosses, which are a kind of foreshadow. Okay, which actually the three crosses foreshadow the death of Jesus. Now, if you were in the place of Mary, you were told on the day your own child, okay, was being dedicated, presented in the temple, you're told that this same child you're carrying in your arms would die, and you would weep for this child. How would you take it?
Um, I don't know, because like you already know it's going to happen. So I would obviously be very sad, but then at the end of the day, like she obviously knew that Jesus wasn't going to be like any normal child. That's like obviously Jesus was destined for more than the average person. So she's probably like all throughout her life, she probably like reconciled herself with the fact that all the pain she's going to feel is not going to be in vain. You know, like it all has a purpose.
Okay. And as you rightly said, it tells you that this child is not just an ordinary child. Okay. Okay. The last question I have for you, the reference to wine skins, the wine skins. Okay. What does that allusion tell you? Reference to wine skins. What does it tell you?
Um,
Try to
the
tie
allusion
this
to
to the Bible. Yes. Wine skins.
what?
Wine
Oh, I think it
skins.
talks about when Jesus turned water into wine. Oh no,
Okay.
no, and also like when they were the blood of Jesus, the wine is supposed to represent blood, because you know, like in you know how they said the bread is supposed to represent the body, and the wine is supposed to represent Jesus Christ's blood.
Okay, maybe you're getting this muddled up. The talk of wine skin. If you actually have read that part in the Bible where Jesus, said something, give a parable. He said, "You don't put new wine in an old wine skin." Have you read something like that?
I think so, yes.
Now, what that presupposes is this. Now, when you become a Christian, you don't try to return to your old ways. You don't return to your old practices. That's why he said you don't put new wine into an old wineskin. Do you understand?
Okay, I get
Okay.
it now.
All right. Thank you. Okay. You guys, do you still have anything to add?
Yes, there's
What is
still
it?
a few more slides. There's
Please,
still a few more slides.
you have just maximum of 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
so Kamsi, I think
All right.
she's unmuted.
Kamsi. Kamsi.
Okay, so here is personification, and basically it's just when um they give certain attributes to non-living things. They give living attributes to non-living things. So in the poem, it talks about how they gave the cities, towns, and villages, and these are personified to represent the hostility of the townspeople the Magi meet on their journey.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Takayo, any other thing?
So on the statement, in not a moment too soon, finding the place it was, you may say, satisfactory. And it's basically a figure of speech used by writers to make a situation seem less important than it really is, because this was the birth of Christ and it's a really big moment in history, but they just said like it was satisfactory.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
And
And the last one is enjambment, which is basically run-on lines or the continuation of a sentence without a pause at the end of the line. And it occurs in particular like lines 33 to 35. And yeah, I just summarized it all.
Okay. Thank you. Is that
okay,
all?
and that's all. Thank you.
All right. Round of applause for you guys. Thank you so much for the teamwork. Okay. So please make me the host now. So thank you. You have actually dug deep into uh, stanza 2. Okay. Thank you so much for working together and making it concise and also impactful. Okay. Please make me the host now.
Yes, I made you the host.
All right. Thank you. So I want to share this my screen now. Okay, group, without much ado, I'd like to invite the members of group 3, okay? So as you can see here, critically discuss the thematic preoccupation of the poem. That's what we're trying to excavate, and then make presentations in groups. So now I call on Ebon, who happens to be the leader. Okay, so Ebon, where are you now? I'm looking for you. Okay, I've seen you. Okay, please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you have a maximum of 7 minutes. So I make you the host now.
All right.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Let me.
So tell us what you're doing.
Okay, so today we're talking about the themes in the journey of the Magi.
And you tied to stanza 3, okay?
Stanza 3. Sorry, it did specify.
I mean, you've read this poem before, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, just tie to stanza 3. Okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Seven minutes.
Right. So before we do that, there's some general notes. Firstly, the meaning of theme. This is the central topic, subject, or message within a narrative, but in this case, the poem. This poem was written by C.S. Eliot. Title is Journey of the Magi, and it's divided into 3. The first stanza talking about the journey, the second one, the arrival, and the third one, reflection.
All right.
Themes to be discussed: theme of death, theme of suffering, theme of doubt, theme of religion, and theme of alienation.
Alienation. Yeah, thank you.
Divine.
So the first theme is suffering. So a lot of the poem is about like a complaint on suffering experienced by the Magi and like all the hardships and difficulties that they went through to reach their destination. They suffer in all sorts of ways, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Physically because the journey is long, they'll be tired and everything. And the mental and emotional aspect is coming from like realizing that this isn't just the birth of something new. It also has to be the death of their old ways. And they have to go through like a grueling process to really come out as like holy and be saved.
Mm.
And on their journey too, they're always like, it's a long journey, and so they're always homeless. They're always an unfamiliar place in a strange place without any support. They're going through different trials and tribulations to get to Mary and Joseph. They endure so many horrible things like terrible weather and uncooperative camel trains and hostile people. But in the end, it's all for something.
Okay.
And the suffering of Jesus is also foreshadowed in many biblical allusions inside the third stanza.
Yeah.
So that's also an identity.
Thank you. I agree. Thank you so much. Okay, the
Okay, the
next
next
person.
theme is about religion. So as we all know, the whole poem is talking about Jesus Christ, and like it's also links to biblical allusion, which is talking about like the birth of Jesus and the three wise men, how the journey was to wherever to Bethlehem. And with that, there are bits of allusions from the Bible in line 23, as Ife was talking about for a few of them, where the running stream and living waters has to do with John 4, verse 10, and different other parts of the Bible, as you can see here.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Doubt. Doubt. In the first stanza, the Magi struggle with doubting their religious faith. They experience mental anguish as they hear the voices of others, questioning their decision, with the voices singing in our ears, saying that this was all folly.
Okay.
In the final stanza, the Magos doubt the purpose of their journey. He thought that they were going to witness a birth, but what they ultimately saw was a death
Hmm.
of both Jesus and his own way of life as a pagan. He says that rationally, they had evidence of a birth, but the emotional feeling was of the opposites. So he struggles with the paradox at the heart of the experience. We can see the doubt play out in the whole of stanza 5.
All right.
So in addition to this doubt, majority of, you know how people doubt their faith, they believe there is no God. Some of them believe there is one God, some believe there's a, and that's what made up different religions. Some of us may doubt Christianity is the way, that Buddhist is the way. And all in the end, when they turn to Jesus Christ, some of them may have like this kind of feeling saying, did I actually go through the right path or not? Or am I just doing this to follow like other people? Or am I actually believing from my heart?
Mm.
That's the doubt most Christians have today. They're not too sure if they're actually in Christ or they're not
Uh,
because
uh,
of
are you
society.
are you right to say most Christians or some Christians who are like nominal Christians?
Some Christians, not
Some
all.
Christians. I like that. Thank you. All right.
Chisholm.
This is alienation. This is a theme that means a meaningless past. After a conversion experience, old standards and morals no longer apply. This is brought out near the end, when the narrator speaks of being no longer at ease, with alien people clutching their
Yeah.
gods. In the first stanza, in describing the long journey through the bitter cold of frozen wastelands, Eliot brings out the themes of the frustration, loneliness, doubt, and despair that accompanies a spiritual journey in the life before someone has found fulfillment.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
So these are some other things: spiritual death and rebirth, the death of Jesus Christ, sorry, the birth of Jesus Christ and the death of their pastaways. The arrival, which we see the whole of stanza 1, where they are arriving into a new town where they are not welcome. Anticipation, which is talking about how they anticipated for the birth of Jesus and to see what's going to happen. Theme of fear also comes along with like the third stanza, where they are scared of turning into this god, but they're not too sure of how things will turn out to be if they follow this particular god. Like
Yeah.
the fear of what could happen, what the outcome of it will happen. Like what some Christians fear is that after death, where would they go if they follow this god? If they don't follow this god, like where would they go? It's just a thing of the mind. Then in
Okay.
tradition and customs, like in some of the other poems you've done, some people like believe in their own traditional ways. Some people believe in Jesus Christ. Like it's just because of the people around us. For example, in Nigeria, we have like different traditions, and some we follow different. They follow different gods and all. For example, in the Yoruba culture, their own custom is to follow like Shango or different gods there.
Mm.
So in this poem, they're talking about the tradition of going through the way of Christ, which
majority of people in the world, I'm guessing, follow. And the last theme is change. At the end, when people are changing from their old ways to the new word, and just talking about change from being a bad person, a sinner, to a religious person. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yep, I so much appreciate what you guys have done. It's much more interesting this time. Thank you. I have a question for you guys now. Um, this particular Magi, please. Okay, I can share my screen now. This particular Magi, please make me the host now. Okay, thank you so much. Now, this Magi, did they think that the journey would eventually lead to a new birth? Ab initio, from the beginning of their journey, did they think that it would lead to a new birth? Did they have that in mind?
No,
Uh,
sir. Oh.
okay, what were their thoughts, their expectations?
Well, I don't think they were expecting something spectacular, something out of, like, something that would bizarre them. They didn't believe that it would be something so little and so uncommon.
Okay, so it means they never expected to experience spiritual transformation.
No, they did not.
They did not. Okay, thank you so much for that. You discover that in stanza 3, which happens to be the last stanza, okay, they actually bump into the epiphany. And we are given different interpretations. One meaning of epiphany is that touches on the manifestation of Jesus to a person, okay, to people. And you saw that in the video that we played, how that in the man's dream, Jesus, it is said that, or it was said that Jesus appeared to him twice. Okay, and that was what prompted him or prepared him to actually seek a conversion to Christianity. That's it. Okay, so that epiphany is what you see, and that religious discovery. They never expected it. From the beginning of the journey, they never anticipated that they would undergo such spiritual transformation. They only wanted to, set their quest, that desire to, okay, since we're like explorers, okay, let us just set our quest and go there and see that which has been announced. Okay, but they never expected that
Everything.
new birth. And then we're told, according to what Ife Riley said, why that they were giving us the poetic devices, they made mention of something. They said that a simile was used, and the simile is such that we're told that they had a new birth. So that birth was like death. That birth was like death. Now, my question to you guys, you may speak because we have less than 4 minutes. My question is this: that death, what is it pointing to?
Sin.
Death of sin. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it only sin?
Like ungodly things.
Okay.
Wicked.
Okay. The death of their old practices. Okay, somebody is raising a hand. The death of their old practices. That's Tani. Okay, Tani, please, you may speak. Unmute yourself now. Tani, unmute yourself, please. Okay, you may speak now. Tani, please speak. Okay, since we're still waiting for her to speak. All right, when you are able to speak, please speak. Okay, thank you so much. Is the death of the old dispensation and the birth of a new dispensation. Okay, and also, as you rightly mentioned, one of the themes is the pain of rebirth. Okay, and then we see here that the theme of the poem is the effect of spiritual cultural events on individual identity and society, the process of renewal, the journey of the human psyche through history. Okay, that being said, then we talk about symbols which have been pointed out by the second group. And then finally, we have, there's a rema here, something I wrote here. Rema has to do with revelation. Now, look at this. I'm going to read it out. Out of the old comes the new. Remember, I said something about the wine skin. Okay, how that you're not meant to put a new wine into an old wine skin. So out of the old comes the new. and with it, the death in the birth. And then spiritual, cultural, and psychic processes all undergo change and questioning. What was once familiar now seems alien, which can cause doubt and disorder. Life is a journey, a struggle, but all humans have to go through it, often reaching moments in their lives when a threshold has to be gotten over. Sometimes a new understanding has to take place in order for this spiritual transformation to happen. That spiritual religious discovery, okay, actually changed everything about their life. And in stanza 3, you see how that the speaker in the poem, that's the persona, is reflecting after so many years after the journey. He was reflecting and then he penned down his thoughts. That's it. Okay. I guess we've just come to the end of this. We have succeeded in critically discussing this particular classic poem by T.S. Eliot, and we have, made presentations in groups. And I want to say a very big thank you to everybody who contributed. Okay, God bless you all. Okay, just before this goes off, the code for the task we have on quizzes.com is 30880768. Okay, I'd like to entertain questions now. Does any of you have any questions? Ebon, do you have any?
Say it?
Can you say what?
Can you say it again?
Oh, okay, I'm trying to enlarge it. 30880768. Okay, somebody has something in the chat box. Say, can you type it? Yes, I've typed it. It is already here. 30880768. So thank you so much once again. I'm going to upload the videos on YouTube so that I get a link. Okay, I'll send the links to you guys so that you have the video. So please prepare for next week. Next week is the last lesson contact that we're going to have before the examination. So I need you guys to prepare for the examination. The task on quizzes.com is on literary devices. Just prepare yourself. Questions will come from Romeo and Juliet, and then the poems are studied, and then figures of speech, then other literary devices that we have. If we don't have any questions, I guess we can call it a day here. So thank you so much, everybody. You have done well for yourselves. God bless you all. Bye. Yeah? Okay.